Hello and warm regards from NEXT IAS team. Welcome to another episode of Daily News Analysis. Today in the Explain section, we are going to cover these four topics. The first topic is personality rights. Second topic is Asian Development Bank. Third topic we are going to discuss about the NREGA, that is the ministry seeking an expanded outlay for the next coming 5 years. And lastly, it is the childhood obesity. AIMS has come out with a report regarding the childhood obesity problem in the country. And lastly, in the decoded section, we are going to cover the regulations in the virtual currency digital assets or virtual currency assets. The first topic in the explain section is about the personality rights. We have heard about the potential of AI. हमें पता है कि AI क्या क्या कर सकता है. The AI can create new content, it can create new ideas, it can sort out our content, it can make new content, it can give you any information that you need. Even the AI is being used to copy a person's personality also, their voice, their signature, their way of talking, their way of standing, their way of dressing up. Everything can be copied by AI and it can create deepfakes. And these deepfakes actually create a crisis for that particular person. In this context, this news article has been posted. Now, Delhi High Court has ordered to protect the Jaggi Vasudev's personality rights and has put restraint on AI's misuse, that AI should not be used for replicating his personality. Now the backdrop is very simple, that the High Court has passed the order, and this topic is relevant from GS paper 2 in the polity section. From the governance point of view, this topic becomes important for us because AI's misuse will create security threats. Also, it is important for the fundamental rights of a person. Let's see how. First of all, about the news. The Delhi High Court, as we have discussed, has passed an order protecting the personality rights and publicity rights. You see, personality and publicity rights of Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudev. And I hope you know who this famous personality is. He is a founder of Isha Foundation. And the High Court has restrained various rogue websites from misusing the personality traits by deploying artificial intelligence. That simply means that the High Court has said any social media channel, YouTube, it might be YouTube, it might be Facebook, it might be Twitter, it might be any other channel which is using AI to create morphed images of Jaggi Vasudev, those channels should be banned. That's what the High Court has said. And that all content should be taken down. It said that Mr. Vasudev has acquired uniqueness in personality. How? His voice, his name, his signature, his image, his likeliness, his vocal articulation style, his unique attire, his looks, his appearance. All these have combined to form a unique personality for Vasudev. Even every person is having that personality. Now, High Court has specifically ordered that his content related to him should be taken down. Now, the order has come in the context of making objectionable content and abusing his personality rights and the use of modern day technology to modify his image, voice, likeliness and video of commercial gains. Now, what is the significance of this particular court order? इस court order के बाद जितनी भी images हैं, जो भी content है जग्गी वासुदेव जी के लिए, वो सारा का सारा content हटा दिया जाएगा. All the content related to Jaggi Vasudev which is not approved by him will be removed from every social media site automatically. So the court has passed a blanket order, and this blanket order is very, very important to protect his personality. Even there should be a law regarding that. For any citizen of the country, this protection should be provided specifically, and it should be very much mentioned in the constitution or in the articles. Now, next thing that we comes to is that what is a personality right? See, the personality right of an individual mentions to the right to safeguard the unique aspect of their identity. So it is basically about the unique aspect, जो उनकी एक uniqueness है किसी की personality की, उन rights को बचाने के लिए हम क्या कहते हैं? Personality right. They have the right to protect their unique personality. Now, this right includes their name, voice, signature, image or any other recognizable personal attribute from unauthorized use or exploitation. That any person cannot use a personality's traits for unauthorized use. They should be authorized, only after that it can be used. Now, this personality right is having two basic pillars. The one pillar is right to publicity. Second pillar is right to privacy. This right to publicity talks about the right of an individual to control the commercial use of their identity. That means on commercial basis, their identity cannot be misused. First, permission has to be taken from them, then only that can be used. Now, it includes the acts like Trademarks Act or Copyright Act. These two acts are applicable for protecting the right to publicity. Second is right to privacy. The right to privacy simply means that it provides the protection against unauthorized public representation of one's personality. One's personality cannot be publicly presented without his or her permission. In this case, the right to life under Article 21 becomes very, very prominent. It provides a legal safeguard to this right to privacy. This right to privacy was specifically recognized by Supreme Court in the Puttaswamy case, the famous Puttaswamy case of 2017. It was recognized there. This you should be knowing. And this is a fundamental right. Although we have not explicitly codified the personal right, but personal right is basically coming out of these two pillars, and these are very, very important. Even Amitabh Bachchan, Jackie Shroff and other personalities have also approached court to ensure their personality rights are being protected. Based upon the discussion, you can attempt this MCQ and you can post your answers in the comment box. The second topic in the explain section is about the Asian Development Bank. Now, why it is in news? It is in news because the president of Asian Development Bank is currently in India, and ADB has promised a loan of $10 billion to India for its infrastructure development. This topic becomes relevant from GS paper 3 in the international organizations in the economy section as well as the investment part. Now, let's see the news. The news is that the Asian Development Bank has committed $10 billion for India's urban transformation, and it will be including projects like metro extension for the next 5 years. Now, let's talk about this development bank. What is there? This is a regional development bank and was established in 1966. The basic objective was for achieving a prosperous, inclusive, resilient and sustainable Asia and Pacific while sustaining its effort to eradicate extreme poverty. So it will be basically focusing upon the Asian and Pacific region. That means the China is there, Japan is there, India is there, Southeast Asia is there, then the Pacific islands are there. All these are going to be under the ambit of this Asian Development Bank. Now, it assists its members and partners by providing loans, technical assistance, grants and equity investments. So, there are basically various elements in which this Asian Development Bank helps. One is by providing loans, then it also provides technical assistance. It provides grants and equity investments to promote social and economic development. The headquarters are in Manila in Philippines, and currently the president is Masato Kanda. Now, one more thing about this Asian Development Bank is that it is an official United Nations observer. So, this Asian Development Bank is having the observer status at the United Nations. Next thing is who are the members of this Asian Development Bank? So, currently there are total 69 members. 49 are regional members and non-regional members are 20. What do we mean by this? The regional members means that they are from Asia. The non-regional members means they are from other continents, for example from Europe or Middle East or Africa or Australia. So, these are going to be the non-regional members. Now, the membership is open to members and associate members of, first of all, United Nations Economic Commission for Asia and Far East, and other regional, nation and development non-regional countries that are members of UN or any other specialized agency. So, only those countries which are members either of the United Nations Economic Commission for Asia or are members of UN or any other regional group. Second thing is that the latest member which joined Asian Development Bank is Israel. Israel joined in 2024 and it is the 20th non-regional member of this ADB. Next is, what is the governance system of this Asian Development Bank? So, there is a board of governors which represent its member countries. Secondly, the voting rights are according to the weightage. Weightage means that those countries that are having major membership are going to have more equity stakes in this and are going to have more voting rights here. For example, Japan and United States, Both are having equal 15.6 percentage of equity of shares in this Asian Development Bank. That's why their voting rights are also very high. If you talk about India, so India's share is 6.3%, and it is almost equal to China. China's share is 6.4%. Now, next thing is how is the weighting, how is the borrowings, or how the funds are going to come. So first of all, it can borrow in international bond markets. That is the one way. Second is it can get funds through financial contributions from its members. Thirdly, it is having retained earnings from lending operations and loan repayments. So these are the three mechanisms through which the Asian Development Bank gets its funds through, and those funds are then distributed or given to those countries which need the financial assistance. Now, based upon this discussion, you have to attempt this MCQ and you have to post that in the comment box. The third topic in the explain section is about the NREGS scheme. The rural beneficiaries in NREGS has dipped, and Ministry seeks a 12% higher outlay over the next 5 years. What is the backdrop here? The Ministry of Rural Development has sought an outlay of Rs 5.23 lakh crore for the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme for the coming 5 years till 2029-30. Now, this topic is relevant from GS paper 2 in the welfare schemes and GS paper 3 in the employment section. Now, let's see something about the news. In the last 5 years, that is year from 2020 to 2025, the total outlay for the NREGA scheme was to 4.68 lakh crores, and the highest was in 2020-21. It was 1,09,810 crore rupees. And the basic reason was COVID, because due to COVID everything stopped. So to generate employment in the country, the outlay for the NREGA scheme was increased, and the families that got benefited was 7.55. After that, there has been a decline in the use of NREGA scheme for the rural employment. Now, next thing is that for the next 5 years, that is from 2025 to 2030, the Ministry of Rural Development has said that it needs 5.23 lakh crore rupees for the coming 5 years. It is 12% more than the last 5 years. And the basic reason is that there has been an inflation-linked hike in the wages and the material cost as well. Now, next thing is what is this NREGA scheme? NREGA scheme's basic objective is to ensure livelihood security for the families living in the rural areas. It is having a legal backing, that is, government has promised through a law that it is going to provide employment to the rural families. So it has a legal backing provided by the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act of 2005, and it has came into force due to the efforts of Mazdoor Kisan Shakti Sangathan and economist Jean Deraz. Now, the important thing here is that you can use this particular sentence and this particular body to show the role of civil society in a country's development and social well-being. So, this example can be used. Next, it focuses to ensure right to work by guaranteeing 100 days of wage employment annually to the rural household. And the kind of work will be unskilled work. So, any person who is willing to do unskilled work will be given 100 days of work, that almost means 3.5 months work at his own hometown or home village. That is, from that particular native place he will be given the work. And its objective is to provide livelihood security and boost the rural economy through unskilled manual work. So you should be focusing upon these keywords: 100 days in his own village, rural areas, and rural economy. So basically it is focusing upon the rural areas. The kind of work is unskilled work. The amount for the work is given is 100 days. You can say it is almost 1/4 of an year. So the government is providing a livelihood security for the 1/4 of 25% of the year to the rural families. The next is how this whole budget will be divided. So the wages part, the unskilled part will be borne by the center. So any kind of unskilled work that is being done will be 100% financed by the central government. If a skilled work is being employed, then it will be given by the state governments. Second is material cost. It will be divided between state and center as 75 and 25%. Third is administrative expenses. That will be borne by the center only. 100% expenses will be given by the central government. Then social audits. Its financial obligation will be on central government only. There will be no obligation on the state government. And lastly, the unemployment allowance. This unemployment allowance will be the responsibility of the state government. So let's see what are these elements. So first of all, the eligibility. The person should be an Indian citizen. He should be 18 years or older than that, and the unskilled manual labor work he will be allowed to do. So any person who is above 18 years, who is an Indian citizen, will be guaranteed 100 days of unskilled manual labor. Second is employment guarantee, 100 days of work per rural household. That you have to remember. It is not per person, it is per rural household. यानी एक घर से एक इंसान को 100 दिन का अनस्किल्ड वर्क दिया जाएगा. Then employment must be offered within 15 days of application. यानी 15 दिन के अंदर if a person applies for employment under मनरेगा, he should be given employment within 15 days. अगर ऐसा नहीं होता है तो if this is not possible, if the person is not given employment within 15 days, then what is going to happen? Then 25% of the minimum wages for the first 30 days will be given. That means बिना काम किए he will be getting 25% of the wages. And that's why if the state government is not able to allocate some work, that's why the obligation of unemployment allowance is on state only. क्योंकि state का ही काम है employment देना. So state will be responsible for this unemployment allowance. Now next thing is, then अगर वो 30 days के बाद तक भी the wages he is not getting work, then 50% of the minimum wages will be given. So that's how the government is ensuring that the person is getting employed or is getting at least financial security. The next is a social audit. Mandatory audits have to be done, and a particular section, that is section 17, has been mentioned for transparency and community oversight, and it will be conducted by the local bodies and the public. So the overall social audit will be done by the local bodies and public. So it is also ensuring, or it is also having an element of public participation in ensuring transparency in the implementation of the scheme. Next thing is the work allocation. The work should be allocated within a radius of 5 kilometer. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि 50 किलोमीटर दूर जाके उसको वर्क allocate किया गया. That will be an additional financial burden on that person. So that's why the work should be allocated within 5 kilometer and within 15 days. After that, there will be penalty on the state government. They have to pay the unemployment allowance. Then if the work is allocated before 5 kilometers, then he will be given a travel allowance as well. Next thing is, the implementation will be decentralized. For that, Gram Sabhas have been given the responsibility to identify the project. The whole village is going to identify where the Manrega funds are going to go. Next, the Panchayati Raj institutions are going to implement and monitor those programs. Third one is, there will be emphasis on the local planning and accountability. So accountability we have already seen. The social audit, that is a local accountability, that is ensuring local accountability. Secondly, the local planning is also very important, because every region is having its own set of problems, its own sets of challenges, and its own set of resources. So local planning becomes important. Why? To tackle the local challenges and to utilize the local resources in an effective manner. The next is workers' right. What are the rights of the workers? They will be given a safe work environment. The work environment should not be a dangerous one. Secondly, basic medical facilities will be provided. And if any injuries occur, then the compensation will also be provided to them. Then wage must be paid within 15 days. And if there is any delay, then compensation charges will apply over that. Then we have the grievance redressal. If there is any grievance, then the complaints must be resolved within 7 days, not more than that. Lastly, these are the provisions. Lastly, there is a standing committee on rural development and Panchayati Raj. It has given some suggestions for the improvement of the scheme. These suggestions are, first of all, wage revision. the daily wages should be extended to rupees 400, seeing the current scenario of inflation and the current burden on the laborers. Second, the work days should also be extended. Initially it was 100 days, now it should be 150 days. That means half of the year, or 6 months, or you can say 5 for the 5 months, there should be employment guarantee by the government. Third is conduct surveys to assess the effectiveness of this particular scheme. That is also very important. Then we have efficiency measures. Prevent any duplication of work or financial mismanagement, because there have been instances, this is unskilled work. So same kind of work is being duplicated or again being repeated. So this particular committee has recommended that we need to avoid the duplication of work, and we should be having prudential financial management so that we can effectively use our financial resources. And lastly, sustainable infrastructure should be focused upon. Instead of building temporary infrastructures, we should be focusing upon permanent structures. Now, based upon the discussion, you have to attempt the MCQ and you have to post that in the comment box. The fourth topic in the explain section we are going to discuss about is the obesity. A very, you can say, the thing that you observe in the daily life. The obesity which we are more or less we are also suffering from, जिसे बोलते हैं हिंदी में मोटापा. And it is about a more core issue. It is about childhood obesity. Because in children also we are now finding that the occurrence of obesity is increasing. On one side, we are having children who are malnourished, who are not getting proper nutrition, who are not being properly developed, and they are not getting proper food and proper nutrition. On the other side, we are having a section of children who are obese now, who are overeating, who are now having health concerns due to their sedentary lifestyle. And there has been a study by the AIIMS which have revealed these facts. So let's see the news. The news is that AIIMS study flags rising childhood obesity. And this topic is relevant from GS paper 2 in the health section and also from GS paper 3 from the human resource section. Now let's see the news. The news is that the key findings from the AIIMS study over the Delhi school children is that there has been a sample survey over 4,000 children. And the age group taken was 6 to 19 years. And it was from both public and private schools. This study has revealed that 13.4% of the children are obese now. And if you talk about private sector school, it is 24%. And in the government school, it is 4.5%. So comparatively, children who are going to private schools are more prone to the problem of obeseness. That means the well-off children, because mostly to private schools, the parents are able to pay the high fee that we are facing. The high fees of the private school they are able to pay. So we are seeing a trend in which the children who are coming from the upper sections of the society, they are getting more obese. Almost 1/4 of the children who are going to private schools are now more or less obese or are overweight. The hypertension in the children, it is also increasing. It is 7.4%. 7.4% of the students are affected by the hypertension only. Then metabolic and blood sugar issues are also being observed. Twice likely to have elevated blood sugar, and 3 times more are likely to have metabolic syndromes like hypertension, abnormal cholesterol, insulin resistance, etc. So overeating as well as undernutrition both have become a problem for the country. And there are more reports which have revealed these facts. For example, National Data and Trends. Comprehensive National Nutrition Survey 2016-18 has revealed that 15.35% of school-age children are pre-diabetic. See, at such young age, the students are getting pre-diabetic or diabetic. 16.18% of adolescents are pre-diabetic. And this data can be used in your mains answers also, mind it. Lancet Global Burden of Disease Study of 2024 reveals that obese children in India have increased from 0.4 million in 1990 to 12.5 million in 2022. So with rising income, the problem of obesity, overeating, overweight is also coming to the country. Now what are the problems with respect to that? We know when you get obese, there are a number of diseases that you are going to be affected. First of all, type 2 diabetes is going to be affecting you. Then eating disorders are going to be there. For example, binge eating, it is being seen. Then orthopedic issues are also there. Foot structure abnormalities are developing in the students, children. Then fatty liver diseases are also being seen in the children. It is also going to lead to respiratory problems like breathlessness, chest wall restrictions, etc. Sleep apnea means poor sleep, fatigue, low concentration is also being observed. And lastly, cardiomyopathy, that is heart strain due to excessive weight, are being observed. So a number of physical diseases are now developing in our children, and they are going to be seen when they are going to be adult. So that's why in the country there is a crisis. On one side there is malnutrition, and on the other side there is the problems related with the overnutrition, or we can say overeating, or having food which is not having nutritional value. Now it's not related to that only. If we see, around 80% of obese adolescents have become obese adults. Obesity in children strongly predicts lifelong weight issues and chronic diseases. Along with that, there are psychosocial issues also, or implications also. It simply means they are having low esteem because of the overweight that they are having. And due to that low esteem, they are facing problems with respect to social interactions, school performance, or friendship development. Because body naming and shaming is being done when a child is obese. So this low self-esteem, the overweightness, जो मोटापा है, the obeseness, उसकी वजह से the overall mental as well as physical growth of the child is being affected. Now, what are the basic reasons for this childhood obesity? First of all, the food that we are having is not healthy. There is unhealthy food choices that we are facing. Chocolates are there. There are other products which are having high amount of sugar, high amount of fat, and high amount of salts also. And the ultra processed food. These all foods are harmful for us, and for children their effect is multifold. Second, the physical inactivity that is being happening, because in the urban areas especially, what we see is that the spaces for playing, the open spaces have now declined. So the outdoor play and physical activity has declined. There are security reasons also with respect to that. Because of security reasons also, the parents don't allow their children to go out. Then there is preference for the sedentary lifestyle also, leisures also. For example, TV is there, video games have come up, mobile use is there. And these all things are affecting the metabolic activity of a child. A child who should be playing out in the ground, he or she is now sitting in front of TV or using a mobile phone, and that's why the metabolic activity of the body is declining, and it is resulting in overweight, and overweight is resulting in other physical and psychosocial problems. Then parental and genetic influence can also be there. The overweight parents can influence unhealthy food patterns in their children. Then genetic predisposition can also be there, which is out of control of the parent as well as of the child. But in that case also, the physical activity can help in controlling that thing. Then excessive screen time, that is a very, very major challenge. An average child spends 2.5 hours a day on the screens. And this is a sedentary habit which is replacing the active play. And active play, as we have already discussed, it is affecting the metabolic activity of the body, the growth of the body, the physical growth of the body, the mental growth of the body, and leading to obesity in the children. Now, what should we be doing? First of all, CBSE have given a directive. The directive is that introduce sugar boards in school to raise awareness. Awareness about excessive consumption of sugar should be raised. Secondly, curriculum and environmental changes are also required. Make physical education compulsory. There should be, on daily basis, there should be physical activity classes for the students. Junk food should be banned in the school premises. Even around it also it should be banned, because it is an unhealthy habit. Then the role of families also come into play. Parents must re-evaluate and improve lifestyle habits at home. The diet, the activity, the screen time, all things should be looked upon, should be regulated upon, and they should not be allowed to over exceed. Even the focus should be more on active playing, on active physical activity. Then policy recommendations are also there. Implement the National Childhood Obesity Guidelines, which are given by the government, and they are still on the paper. Then launch a comprehensive public health initiative that will include regulation, awareness campaigns, school and community participation. So this is what we need to do with respect to childhood obesity issue. Now, based upon the discussion, you have to attempt this MCQ and you have to post the answer in the comment box. Now it's time for decoding the editorial. The topic that we are having today is the virtual digital assets and the regulation that is happening in the country. This topic is in the backdrop that there is absence of a clear policy for regulation of virtual digital assets. And this topic becomes relevant from GS paper 3 in the economy section. Also in the governance part, it can be asked. But majorly it will be mainly focused in the GS paper 3 in the economy section. Now let's see about the news. India continues to lead in the grassroots crypto adoption for the second consecutive year in the Geography of Crypto report by Chainalysis 2024. So this report says that in India, the crypto is very, very popular. Also, the NESCOM report has pointed out that India's retail investors poured $6.6 billion in crypto assets last year. The industry could reach or could generate 8 lakh jobs by 2030. So that is the significance of this particular section, that is virtual digital assets. Now, what are these virtual digital assets? So if we go by the formal language that is given by the Income Tax Act of 2022, the section 247A says virtual assets include any information, code or number generated using cryptographic techniques that represent a digital value. It simply includes the bitcoins, the cryptocurrencies that we have, or any kind of digital assets that are there, which are having a code, information or number generated through cryptographic techniques. These assets can be traded or transferred electronically. For example, cryptocurrencies, non-fungible tokens are there, and security tokens are also there. Now, if we talk about the regulation of cryptocurrencies in the country, what we see? We see in 2013, RBI has pointed out the potential damage the cryptocurrencies can do, the potential harms of these currencies. They highlighted the potential threats of cryptocurrencies due to their lack of authorization from any central bank or monetary policy. It was basically that cryptocurrencies can result in money laundering, more black money in the country, more terror financing, more financing to the moist areas. So these were the threats that were pointed out by the RBI. Then in 2018, RBI released a circular and it said that every entity will be banned from dealing in any kind of VDA related or virtual digital assets related entities. So these cryptocurrencies or crypto assets were basically banned in the country. However, in 2020, Supreme Court said that we cannot ban these kind of currencies. For example, we are not having any kind of regulation with respect to that. That means they cannot be overlooked, or we cannot turn a blind eye to these. So RBI overturned the circular of Supreme Court overturned the circular of the RBI. Then in 2022, the government take cognizance of this and it passed the IT Act. This Income Tax Act says that 1% tax deduction at source will be done for every transaction of the cryptocurrencies, and the capital gains tax will be 30%. So for every transaction that is more than 10,000, a TDS will be deducted, and 30% capital gains tax will be imposed if any capital gain is being done through these cryptocurrencies. So in a manner, the government has tried to discourage the use of cryptocurrencies. Now, next thing is, what are the key challenges with respect to India's existing policy with respect to VDAs or virtual digital assets? The first one is that there is no dedicated legal framework. We lack a dedicated legal framework, and it creates confusion among the investor, businesses and enforcement agencies. So that is a problem. We need to have a dedicated legal framework to deal with this virtual digital assets. Secondly, Supreme Court has itself criticized that there is no clear policy, noting that banning is not a suitable solution. So Supreme Court itself has pointed out this thing. Second is taxation without regulation. Already the IT Act has imposed, or income tax has imposed, 1% TDS on any kind of transaction more than 10,000 rupees, or It has also put a tax of 30% capital gains tax for any kind of transaction that a cryptocurrencies have and you gain from it. Now it is not having a supporting regulatory structure and it has led to a poor compliance and tax evasion. So this policy is also not working. Thirdly, there is capital flight to offshore platforms as well. From 2022 to 2024, July 2022 to October 2024, Indian traders have traded 3.66 trillion worth of VDAs offshore. So now trading is done offshore itself. The cumulative uncollected TDS from offshore exchange till since July 2022 is estimated to be $60 billion. So that is one revenue that we have lost. Then ineffective enforcement mechanism is there. Efforts like URL blocking of non-compliant platforms have limited impact. Now there are bypasses like there's VPN, mirror sites are there, alternative platforms are there through which we are able to bypass the URL blocking mechanism that is being used. Trading activity and web traffic on blocked platforms are rebounding quickly. So there is this blocking of these URLs is virtually having no effect on the trading with respect to VDAs. The next thing is undermining domestic VAPs. The current policy regime disadvantages compliant Indian virtual asset service providers that are actively working with regulators. So genuine platforms are at a disadvantage, and the benefit is being taken by the offshore VDAs. जो कि बाहर के platforms हैं, they are getting benefited, and our Indian platforms who are going according to the policy are at a disadvantage with the current policy structure that we are having. Then missed economic and innovation opportunities, because this cryptocurrencies, the blockchain, that is a new technology that is coming up, and we are missing on that part. It will lead, this policy vacuum is now stifling our job creation and innovation in the country. Even NESCOM has itself projected there will be 8 lakh jobs that will be created through these VDAs by 2030. So we should be having a proper policy regarding this. Then regulatory misalignment with the global standards. India's policy does not yet fully align with the international standards set by IMF, FATF and Financial Stability Board. Lastly, misalignment limits India's role in shaping the global crypto regulatory discourse also. So India's ability to participate and to influence the global crypto regulatory discourse is also very limited. Why? Because we are not having a compliant structure according to the IMF, FATF or financial institutions. The next is what should be done. First of all, we need to develop a comprehensive regulatory framework. That is the need of the hour. It should be clear and it should clearly define the nature, scope and treatment of crypto assets, and it should be a stable one. Second, establish clear regulatory categories for different kinds of digital assets. For example, utility token, there should be different guidelines. For stable coins, NTF, everything should be having a different regulatory setups. Then shift from tax first to regulation first approach. We are having tax and no regulation. 1% tax of TDS and no regulation. 30% capital gain tax and no regulation. We should be having regulation first and taxation later on. Then introduce tax policies aligned with the international best practices, such as allowing loss offsetting, then removing or reducing TDS for verified transactions on compliant platforms, and ensuring clarity on the tax treatment of various VDA transactions. Then support domestic VSPAs, encourage virtual asset service providers to register and operate under compliance framework, offer regulatory sandboxes for Indian VASPs to innovate safely under supervision. Then harmonize with the global standards. The regulations already issued by FATF, IMF, Financial Stability Board, they should be complied with. Next, ensure robust anti-money laundering and counter-terror financing frameworks. Then finance cross-border cooperation in enforcement and reporting. The next thing we are having is enhanced regulatory coordination. A multi-agency regulatory body or task force involving RBI, SEBI, Ministry of Finance and MITI should be there to coordinate on the crypto policy. Then assign clear jurisdiction for different regulators. For example, RBI for stablecoin, SBI for investment tokens, etc. Then improve enforcement mechanism as well. Go beyond URL blocking. Go for KYC. Go for reporting norms. So these should be there. Then block financing transactions and non-compliant platforms. Tracking and penalizing illicit offshore activity with the help of VSPs and tech tools. That should also be done. Then increase public awareness and investor education. Launch public campaign to inform users about risk of using non-compliant platforms, legal obligation and reporting requirements, and safe trading practices. These things need to be done. At the end, India needs to move beyond the current policy statuses. A balanced, pragmatic and future-proof regulatory framework is necessary. India must take decisive action to create comprehensive legislation that cryptocurrency industry requires while mitigating the associated risk. Based upon the discussion, you can attempt this mains question and you can answer in the comment box. These were the important news for the today. Thank you very much.